Welcome, Forge Masters. You are here to get the most out of your metal release? Well, you've come to the right place. As hardworking musicians and producers, we want to show you what it's like for bands to go through the process of creating, recording, and writing an album. We also want to put a spotlight on what's working and what's not working, so you can make the most out of your releases. So, let's take a look at today's review. German black metal duo Odal is back with their fourth full-length, WELTEN MUTTER, which loosely translates to World Mother. This pagan black metal band brings nature worship to a dark and dreary place, but it's a place where you want to be because there's killer guitar leads, passionate vocals, and a very unique woodsy atmosphere. So what are some takeaways that we can mill out of the forest of Odal? Let's dive into it with our analysis of the atmosphere. This is a very, as I said, unique and woodsy atmosphere. If Odal had come out with WELTEN MUTTER 20 years ago, we would all be ordering their merch and tickets. Unfortunately, bands like Agalloch and Ulver beat them to the punch. Odal has proclaimed themselves to be pagan black metal. So what do you expect from pagan black metal? Many folks would agree that the standard tropes are nature worship, a rejection of modern society, an appeal to old gods, and an older, more archaic way of living and being. It's something that I really love and connect with as a nature worshiper myself. And Odal has created some very powerful roots with their unique woodsy atmosphere on this record. It truly does feel like an album made to worship Mother Earth. The score on this, 4.5 out of 5. The artwork for WELTEN MUTTER was done by German artist D, sounds like a wrestler name, who has worked on a couple of other album covers in this past. This is a pretty radical design. It speaks to the atmosphere that is forthcoming on this record. There are two vinyl variants available, as you can see, a 180 gram black and a 180 gram stone and sea vinyl. Oh, some beautiful colors on that vinyl right there, that stone and sea one. I also really like the cover on the CD itself. It's always nice to see well thought out design here, folks. We as the consumer, I don't want to be looking through my CD booklet and being like, oh my God, there's, which one's Odal? Boom, I know exactly what it is. There's the logo, there's the design. I'm not looking at the other three completely black CDs and being like, well, which one's Isis and which one's Odal and which one's... It shouldn't be a guessing game, folks. You know what it is. Boom, there it is. I want to listen to Odal. There's the CD. Goes right in the machine. In a quick search of Odal WELTEN MUTTER, brings up their Bandcamp and a full album stream on YouTube almost immediately. So it looks like things are well optimized on their SEO side. Unfortunately, there are no music videos. I really love critiquing music videos. Look, overall, the artwork and marketing for this release is very strong. That stone and sea vinyl, oh, beautiful. Though I do wish that there were some shirts and other merchandise besides beanies and vinyls. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. This is where the album doesn't have as much power for me. They're rather formulaic compositions. Once you've heard a couple songs, you pretty much get it. There's no cinematic interludes or any haunting 3-minute drone pieces to really break up the metal and allow the atmosphere to sink in. While there are great riffs and fantastic solos, none of them are earworms. None of them are stuck in my head for days after spinning this record, and I want an earworm when I walk away from this record. Something to really make it stand out, something to make it stick with me. Overall, the composition of this record is a bit in the average ballpark. None of the songs are really highlight tracks. Collectively, they're all good, but I couldn't name a specific track that I would really say, hey, this identifies WELTEN MUTTER and speaks on behalf of the record. 3.5 out of 5 in terms of composition. Like many solo or duo projects that we analyze here, WELTEN MUTTER was produced, edited, and mixed by Tolkien, the main songwriter and musician in Odal. You're gonna hear us say this 100,000 million times. It's not good enough for a musician to just be a musician anymore. All musicians have to have some capability to record and demo from your own home. If you don't, you're irrelevant. You're behind the times. Recording equipment is cheap nowadays, and you don't have to have a music production degree, like I have, to get decent sounds from entry-level gear. If you're a musician or a songwriter that constantly has songs swimming around in your head, you've got to invest in some kind of home recording kit so you can harness the power and archive your ideas. Even if it's recording stuff on your phone or a small handheld recorder, you're gonna wanna move away from that though and more into fleshed out full songs. Trust me. Getting back to Odal. The tone on this reminds me of pale folklore era Agalloch. It really fits the band. It's not quite raw, but it's not quite polished. It sounds great in 2021. It's not entirely outdated. The production on this, 4 out of 5, definitely. So with other takeaways here before we get to my final tally, the consistency of their releases. If you look back at Odal's timeline with their discography, their first demo was in 2000. 21 years ago. Since then, they have released 4 full lengths, numerous splits, and a couple of EPs. I can't really see any consistency or patterns in their releases. They seem to be very sporadic outside of the initial 10 years or so of the band. This can make it tough for anyone on the outside of your die-hard fan base to pay attention to you. Even if you're not releasing music, your band or one of your band members should be active in the scene. And I think that's what we're dealing with here in Odal. Token seems like a very active fella, taking up other audio production roles and musician duties in various other projects. So I think that's acceptable for Odal's release consistency to be so, sporadic. And a strong and appropriate label here. Eisenwald is a label that we have a lot of respect for. They have a really solid roster, and we simply trust their brand. It's like anything else as a consumer. You see a label or a logo, you know what you're getting into. That's Eisenwald for the European black metal scene. Odal, Eisenwald, they're a match made in pagan heaven. So, after the final tally, Odal gets 4 out of 5 World Mothers. And what's your score? This record is out on Eisenwald on April 23rd. Be sure to grab a copy. As always, reach out to us if you have any suggestions or would like a consultation on your project. That is something that we are starting to do now. Be well, stay safe, be kind, give no shit, take no shit. The gods are watching. Take care, Forge Mates.